Welcome to the big show. It's the Retire Young radio show. If you're a first-time listener, thanks for stopping by. I'm your host, Joshua David, and we are happy to have you with us today. Once again on the program, as always, I have my great friend, my great pal, and the mastermind of this whole operation. It's not me, Mr. Al Conningson. Al, how the heck are you doing today?
You know, Josh, I am feeling really good. How about yourself?
Let's try this again. You look good today.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You look good yourself.
Thank you so much. It's always great to be back helping our Retire Young family make better investing decisions. And Al, every single week we have a lot going on that we need to talk about in the financial markets, especially the stock market. We had another great week. We had all-time highs last week again. And the Dow is a little behind, though. So we're seeing a lot of people that want to understand more about the stock market, how it works, how it functions, how price really moves in the stock market. And you're helping a lot of people with that. So let's start off with what's happening with the current market conditions with the stock market, but also how can us or the individuals that are listening participate utilizing these markets?
Yeah, well, we had an interesting week. The S&P 500 hit a record high. So now we have the NASDAQ continuing to hit highs. The S&P 500 has recouped all the losses from the coronavirus drawdown. The Dow's still lagging a little bit, but that makes sense because the companies that really have driven this market are, they reside more in the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. So we've had some record movements. The market has been extremely, good to most of us. Target had earnings that actually their second quarter earnings were record earnings, record sales growth. And a lot of it, Walmart had the same thing. Walmart had great earnings. Home Depot did. These are companies that really benefited from the coronavirus, from the stimulus. And, I just realized that my dad lied to me because he used to say, he would always say to me, you know what, money doesn't fall from the sky. But it really does.
It has been for people.
It has been courtesy of the federal government.
Yeah, I always heard it doesn't grow from trees.
Well, it still doesn't grow on trees. I've tried to plant a tree and I stuck a dollar bill in with the seeds, but it doesn't work. But it's falling from the sky. But the feds have lowered interest rates to basically zero. When you look at the real rates, you take into consideration inflation, they're really negative. But they've infused trillions of dollars into the economy. And really, has been nowhere else for the money to go but in the stock market. Yeah. So, here when people are looking at getting started, and we see this all the time, where people come in and they want to understand why their returns, why their portfolios aren't keeping up with the market. So the first thing that I think we really need to get across is an agreement that somebody is making money. The institutions, the smart money, we call it smart money. That's basically companies like Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, wealthy individuals.
Really, the banks that control the market.
They are controlling the market, which makes sense then that they are making money from it. But then you have to accept the fact that it can be done, and it's being done. But the question then is, why not by everybody? How do you succeed with 100% success?
Well, a lot of listeners right now, Al, are probably thinking, well, I'm not a professional, so I can't do that.
Yeah, you know what? You don't have to be. If you are just smart enough to understand that they will allow you to follow what they're doing. A lot of people say, well, I'm not smart enough to do this. That's not the case.
You just haven't learned yet.
Yeah, there's smart people out there that are being paid millions of dollars by these big firms. And fortunately for us, they're really kind of telegraphing to us what they're doing, and it even can go a step further when they're going to be doing it. So I started out by saying, some people want to know how they can be 100% successful. Well, you can't. So you have to understand that nobody is going to be 100% successful, basically in anything that they do.
So what do you do then?
Well, the great thing is you don't have to be. What you want to do is put probabilities in your favor, put odds in your favor. It's like anything else you do. In the gambling industry is a good example. There are really two components there. There's the house, and then there are the people that walk in off the street that are the gamblers. The house has the odds in their favor. They have the probabilities in their favor. They know that they are going to come out ahead. So the key then is to identify how you have that edge, how you have the advantage, and really it's just following the people that really have the edge. If an institution has enough money to move the price of something when they buy it or they sell it, that's a huge edge. And one of the reasons that they have that edge is that they have data and material that we don't get, or we get it too late to do anything. I think the really important thing is getting an education, and that education should really be concentrating on what the smart money is doing, what they're doing differently. And basically, it's not any different than anybody listening to this radio show can do. And the most important thing, and I think this is the number one thing that we teach our students, is protection in case you're wrong, or protection in case you're right. You want to protect your initial investment, and you want to protect any profit that you have. And I think the way that we approach this is to help people create a new mindset, because as human beings, the way we look at things is with emotions, and emotions in the financial world are going to be your biggest enemy. So what we want to do is have people develop kind of what we call an agile mindset. And what that means is that the ability to move quickly and easily. And why that's important is that things change quickly in these markets. There's a lot of uncertainty now. We could do a one full show, Josh, on why the market's going to go up. We could do a full show on why the market's going to go down. But we don't know for sure which way it's going to go. But if you understand how the markets function, you understand there are assets and strategies you can use to profit in an up market and a down market, then it doesn't make any difference which way it goes.
That's exactly right. It doesn't matter which way the market's going to go. You just want it to move. And the key thing there, Al, is you were saying you need to protect your gains. I mean, markets are at all-time highs again, or they were, and they've been chugging along. And I think the mindset of everybody is they will always go up. Well, that's not the case. So, I mean, prices are high right now. There's times, I'm not saying to do this now, but there's times to take profits. There's times to collect your gains, but also there's ways that you can protect what you have. And you want to be the house, right? You have to have the edge, and you have to find somebody who knows what they're doing and basically kind of follow what they do. Because think about this. Trading is actually a skill. It's not just knowledge. Is there skills that, Al, is there skills that you've learned in the past? Of course there is.
Sure.
You had to learn, you had to practice. That's the same thing with trading and investing. It's a skill that's available to everybody. So let's go with callers 1 through 10. It's the beginning of the show. Al, we got a lot to discuss today. We have some really good moves in these markets. I want to make sure our listeners understand there's a lot of opportunity in these markets. There's a skill that you have to learn to receive that. So let's talk about how the smart money is creating income, but why they're doing something a little bit different than the public is. This is Josh and Al. We will be right back.